Hey everyone, thanks for checking out Gaming Honor's second Kickstarter, the Exodus of Wolfbane. This module is going to let your players take their characters from 0-level peasants to 2nd-level heroes over the course of multiple sessions. So Thad, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Exodus of Wolfbane?
It's epic in many ways. We've got length of storytelling. This is at least 4 deep sessions. It's epic in the journey. You start in one place and it takes weeks and weeks of travel to get to the end. It's epic in the responsibility. You're worried about your team, your fellow villagers. 50 or so you might have to protect as you make this great journey.
So you start with peasants. They're just sort of normal people, 0 level, and then this cataclysm comes.
There's a strange elder that's in their town that's mute and sometimes doesn't even seem to recognize people around him, named Shadowford. He's been around longer than even the oldest people in the village can remember.
The king knows that Shadowford has some kind of amazing ability. He wants to see it for himself. And in a panic, Mayor Sassafras sends an imposter to try and fool the king. And the king makes the town of Wolfbane pay.
Yeah, the king doesn't suffer fools.
It opens with this big, horrific battle. The villagers getting punished for this mistake they've made.
The characters you play are drawn from the survivors. Your job is to try and help the remaining citizens of Wolfbane escape the king and his men and reach this kind of mythical place called Stonewater.
The story revolves around this Shadowford character. On some level, it's a mystery. He's got a lot of secrets. He's hard to understand. He doesn't communicate well. And these layers get peeled back each week.
When Shadowford was left in the village as a baby, he had this map with him. That map is what gives you the idea to go to Stonewater in the first place. And as you retrace his steps, you do have the possibility to figure out what happened to him.
He has with him this box. This box is as mysterious as he is.
There are clues both in the adventure itself and on the map and on the box that might give players an insight into how to use the items of the box to sort of solve the mystery or to right a wrong.
It's fun for the players to explore this box. What does it do? When should it be used? How should it be used? What are the consequences? The box is very open-ended in how you use it. Players love this because all kinds of crazy, wonderful, exciting, dramatic things can happen with it.
When Thad brought this to our table, I remember Lancey said, like, you had never done something like this before. This kind of extended trek, a true exodus where you're trying to save people's lives.
It's got elements of a survival campaign. It's got elements of a chase, the quarry.
We have encounter cards to help you keep track when you're doing initiatives. If you want to know sort of the stats of the NPCs, the antagonists you're fighting, we have these cards for you. You can just cut them out, mark the initiative order, and then you've got everything you need for those encounters.
The character and the creation of the village that Thad was able to pull off with just very small, nuanced tidbits about all of the 300 characters.
Sasha Ruski, she's one of the creepy triplets.
Kristen Pickle can play the fiddle, but Dilbert Pickle can perform songs with his nose.
So some of these are really silly, but some of these are very useful, and that's important because of the structure that we've built this game. Turgan knows how to set traps. That might be useful to help get food.
Of course you're going to fight monsters, and you're going to fight the evil soldiers, but you're also fighting the environment. And you're trying to keep up the morale. How are you going to keep people's spirits up? Because if their spirits drop, you've worked in a mechanic where the party will pay for that.
Every decision you make matters. Shadowford was nearly killed in that first battle at the village. You've got to keep him alive.
I think that we have to bring up the nemesis, Mr. Stanlish. He is a really nasty, nasty, cruel sheriff of Nottingham on a really bad day type of guy.
And we're counting on the judges to make him as bad as he possibly can be.
Included in all of that are a number of really fun handouts.
This is a letter that also is included with the box. And of course it gives you some clues and a little bit of the history. You get a look what I found card. You get one card, use it one time, and what does it get you? Hey, look what I found in the back of the wagon here.
Exactly.
Maybe it was a bow that you desperately need. Maybe it was a piece of armor. Whatever the judge seems is reasonable.
With the collaborative storytelling element. The more that you can incorporate as a player why that would make any sense, the more the judge would say, yeah, you know what? That's probably fair.
Here's one. You get one of these. Shadowford sees the future. You're in a real pickle. Should we go this way? Should we go that way? Maybe this gives you a little hint.
Shadowford is an immensely powerful figure. If you have the card and times are desperate, the players have that one chance to pull out Shadowford does something amazing, and he will. It's whatever the players make up.
Yeah.
There is no way to predict.
None of these locations on this map have any meaning to you whatsoever. You've never heard of any of these places. You've never been to any of these places. Everything that you come upon is new, exciting, and eye-opening and exotic. It's a very interesting world.
You're gonna go through impassable mountains, choking fog, destroyed, cursed cities. These are unique settings.
Yeah.
You're not in one setting, you're traveling for weeks, and each one is different.
This adventure is primarily designed as a theater of the mind experience, except for the big finale battle.
That's right.
When you really need to know exactly where everyone is, position matters, as wave after wave of bad guys come in. It's really story-driven for the majority.
I've done some of the drawings, the basic pen and ink stuff that I did before, and Thad found another local artist that we're really excited about that has a little bit of a different style, and Thad himself took on some more of it again, and so I'm pretty proud of it.
There are mysteries to solve, there are villains to conquer, but how that happens, it's going to be different every time.
Yeah. And one of the things that we've done is we've got a great Indiana Jones style chase scene that we've been wanting to do for a long time.
And of course, it wouldn't be a great chase sequence if you weren't just happened to be really close to a cliff.
You know, of course, a great adventure has to have a great epic finale, custom map that's filled with all kinds of wonderful details and interesting things for you to interact with and develop strategies with.
You get to think about, okay, they're coming. How can we use our surroundings for defense, for offense? How can we slow them down? How long are you going to study that map and figure out what to do to protect yourselves?
Right.
There's a siege mechanic. You can get very creative with the siege weapons. Thad did some horrific things to us.
Those villagers that died, that perished at the raising of Wolfbane, they may become ammunition.
The plant life there is actually critical too. If you're desperate and you really need something to bring back those hit points, you might want to grab a bite of that weird looking plant and hope for the best.
We don't want players to just know what's going to happen next. And so Stonewater itself is a surprise. So I hope you can see we are really excited to bring the Exodus of Wolfbane to you. We've been working really hard on it, we've been having a ball play testing it, and now it's your turn. So please back our Kickstarter, take this game to your table, and have fun with it. Because I can tell you something, it's gonna be epic.